Pittsburgh. It was quite. So I have to say, full disclosure, he was a little bit late because I missed the ridge turn and ended up going all the way back to Pittsburgh. And I just told him, like, I just wanted to demonstrate to you how difficult it could be in Pittsburgh. Anyhow, listen, my name is Mark Rendulic, and I'm the Citizens Local Market Executive. I'm incredibly pleased to welcome you to the panel on workforce development here in Pittsburgh. I want to thank all of you for joining and taking some time. I think this is an incredibly important topic, and have the pleasure of working with Rob at Partner for Work and the great work they're doing, and CCAC and so many others. You know, and I'm a kid that grew up in the Mon Valley of Pittsburgh. Pretty much everybody I knew's father worked in a steel mill, and I'm old enough to kind of remember kind of seeing that evaporate, and then through the great work of organizations like the Allegheny Conference and others, you know, we've transformed into a hub for technology and healthcare education, and you know, we've just continued to adapt. You know, but that's a bit of a double-edged sword. You know, on one hand, we have these emerging industries that are helping drive growth, things like renewable energy, cybersecurity, robotics, and biotech. And then on the other hand, and Stephanie, I was looking at some of your stats from the conference, we've got this tight labor market, and we've got this skills gap that really needs to be addressed with access to training. And so we're here to talk about how together we can help address these challenges and create new opportunities that will strengthen our workforce and position the city and the economy for success. You know, one of the things I'm incredibly proud is that Citizens, our longstanding commitment to serving customers and community, we take that role incredibly serious, and we hold ourselves to account. And that approach has always been rooted in collaboration. And so events like this give us the opportunity to showcase what all of us could do together when we build solutions and expand training programs and create new career pathways that connect workers with in-demand careers. In fact, just anecdotally would say, you know, we're moving into a great new facility over at Ford Gateway, and we were touring it today, and Bruce asked, you know, are we on schedule? And, you know, one of the answers was, well, we think we're on schedule, but, you know, we're still trying to garner enough workers to actually get the work done on time. And so it's a very real issue that, you know, affects all of us every day. So I really look forward to hearing from our distinguished speakers. Appreciate you being a part of this important panel as we drive this work forward to address these critical issues. So with that, it is my great pleasure to welcome and introduce Citizens Chairman and CEO, Bruce Van Saun. Under his leadership, not only has Citizens grown as a financial institution, but also deepened its community commitment and efforts to drive tangible solutions that impact workforce development. So Bruce, welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Mark, and good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank our panelists for joining me today, and we'll have a great discussion. Thank all of you for showing up and attending. Hopefully you'll be engaged, and when we get to Q&A, we'll have some good dialogue. Thank you also for the Warhol Academy folks. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. So addressing local workforce challenges and developing the workforce of the future, as Mark indicated, is a major focus for Citizens. We have a unique opportunity as a bank to be able to work and have conversations with businesses that we serve and organizations across different sectors and across different geographies. And while there's unique challenges associated with each local community, much of the feedback we hear is the same. In addition to current economic challenges such as inflation and high interest rates, the common obstacle we hear repeatedly is the tight job market and the struggle to find skilled and diverse talent. In today's rapidly evolving economy, the importance of a skilled workforce cannot be overstated. It's the engine that drives our local businesses, it supports our families, and it fuels the growth of our communities. But for many, access to the training and education needed to secure these opportunities can be out of reach. To overcome this and for our businesses and communities to thrive, we must invest in developing the workforce of the future to meet the accelerating needs of the economy. That's why I'm thrilled to announce that over the next 2 years, Citizens will provide $10 million to support workforce initiatives across the communities that we serve. This investment is not just about supporting programs, it's about supporting people who are ready to learn, to grow, and contribute to the economic vitality of our community. And that commitment starts right here in Pittsburgh. Today, we're celebrating the expansion of our partnership with Education Design Lab to launch a new class of credentials called Micro Pathways that makes learning more flexible, more affordable, and more relevant. Through our $200,000 grant, Education Design Lab will bring 3 new training pathways to the Community College of Allegheny County: IT and cybersecurity, doula and midwifery as a specialized nursing track, and mechatronics. This program will focus on equipping students with the skills and knowledge that they need to succeed in our region's high-demand industries, ensuring that local businesses have access to a pipeline of talent that is ready to meet the challenges of tomorrow. Let me state that Citizens is proud to be a long-standing partner in the Pittsburgh community. Between our 67 branch locations and new downtown office opening later this fall at Gateway Center, we employ over 700 colleagues across the city. And we have a shared mission to empower our community and strengthen our workforce, which is what brings us here today. All of us are committed to the success of Pittsburgh and supporting our current and next generation of talent. Within our respective organizations, we each have our own priorities and programs, but my goal today is for each of us to think bigger. How can we work together to address these challenges and create new pathways that match skilled workers with in-demand jobs? And how do we do that while ensuring access to these opportunities? These are the types of conversations that we hope to have here today. So thank you again for joining us here at this beautiful campus, and I look forward to the discussion. And with that, I'd like to introduce Stefani Pashman, the CEO of Allegheny Conference on Community Development, who will serve as today's moderator. Stefani?
Thank you, Bruce. Wow, that's wonderful news from Citizens, and we're really appreciative of your continued partnership and investment in this region and obviously globally and your leadership in this space. So it's wonderful to be with all of you today and with this esteemed panel. I'm going to make a few comments just about our perspective on some of the economy and workforce challenges where we sit, and then each of our experts will dig in a little bit deeper, and I'll ask each of you to introduce yourselves a bit when we turn to you. So, in my work at the Allegheny Conference, we think a lot about the general frame of the economy, and we always want to see growth and opportunity because of the more we have resources and economic activity, the more we can invest back in communities and create the neighborhoods and spaces that people all want to see. And I think what we all know in Pittsburgh is that we face a real challenge in terms of propelling that growth, and a lot of that stems from our historic challenges of population, that we still have kind of never achieved a growth of people across a 10-county region. And when you don't have a lot of people growing, it's hard that you have this chicken and egg problem of jobs, people, where do you start? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But it also means that every single person that's here, we need to find a meaningful place in our workforce. And that creates opportunities for us to be creative with technology. It creates opportunities for us to be creative with the type of training we're talking about today, that Bill's going to talk about, and the kind of work that Quintin does here at CCAC. And the fact that we have to think more broadly about pathways for people into our economy. And so, unfortunately, we are still kind of lagging a lot of our benchmark regions in terms of getting to even 100% of where we are pre-pandemic in terms of people, in terms of economic activity. And so what we try really hard to do is be creative through partnerships in Pittsburgh. And I think what Citizens is setting an example for all of us is it's so much about the employer in the equation. And the ability for us to bring together these partnerships with the employers, with organizations like each of these sitting here, is what's going to help us in Pittsburgh untangle some of our challenges. So that's kind of just give you some 100,000-foot view on just some macroeconomic conditions. And with that, I want to kind of bring it to you, Rob, because you live this every day, you breathe this every day at Partner for Work, and I'd love for you to kind of help us understand what some of the local challenges are, how you're approaching this kind of talent challenge we have, how we get those people off the side that aren't participating in the workforce, and what some of opportunities you're creating at Partner for Work to make that happen.
Sure. Thank you. Good morning. Is it still morning? No, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Sorry. Started this morning. Rob Cherry, I'm the CEO of Partner for Work. Partner for Work is the workforce development board for the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. There's a lot of workforce challenges right now. Stefani alluded to probably our largest one, which is population, and particularly with Allegheny County, an aging population. So statistically, more people are dying here than are born, and that presents a workforce challenge. And so, aside from, St. Petersburg and Dade County, Allegheny County, or this region, is one of the oldest in the nation. And so a lot of places from a workforce development perspective are really looking at us right now to see how we kind of navigate through those challenges. But to give you an example of, how that impacts our sectors is, say, in healthcare. In healthcare, in the next 10 years, we'll lose 25% of our healthcare workers, right? We'll lose those to retirement. Those folks will go on and retire. Those folks will stay here and then become, super utilizers of that system. So it's a compounding issue, so to speak, that, as folks age out, they're going to impact the same system that they're coming out of. And so we really have to think of, innovative strategies, to attract people in, but to also pathway people in also. We have a lot of young people who are going to, make that decision, graduating out of high school. How do I fit in here in Allegheny County? And if we don't give them an answer really soon, they're going to find somewhere else to fit in. And so we have to present opportunities to young people that present a real pathway, real hope, and real opportunity for the future. A second challenge that we have is the rate of technology, the way technology is kind of advancing, and how we can keep up with skills development and training also. And so the AI that we're using right now, in 18 months, it'll be a different AI, and those skills are emerging and innovating every year, and training has to keep up with those things. And so right now, I'll give you an example. We were looking for a specific polymer training for a company just outside of Allegheny County. We had to go to Arizona to get it. And and so we're finding ourselves in situations where technology is advancing. We're trying to find the core skills and technical training around that, and we're really building the plane as we're flying it. And we're doing it in biotechnology, we're doing it in AI, and many other sectors all at the same time. And the good thing about that presents a lot of opportunity for people. And so that presents opportunities for companies to think differently about how they onboard people. We saw with the state a few years ago, they removed bachelor's degrees from, over 30,000 occupations. And so it really gives employers an opportunity to say, hey, we got a no pile over here of people who have reached out to this particular company. They want to work here, but at some point we said they didn't have the right skill or the right ability to work here. And we said no to that person. How can we go back and look at that no pile and create innovative pathways to create a pathway for those folks to work there, whether it's some internal training or other technical or skill-related training, to make sure folks can make that jump. Because if they don't, they stay in the no pile, and then that's a job that doesn't get filled.
You raised a lot of issues in there, Rob, that we'll get to. And I think, Bruce, I want to go to you next, because you mentioned in your remarks you're seeing a lot of common threads across your markets, but there's also some distinct things in Pittsburgh, right? Can you help us contextualize Pittsburgh and how you see the Citizens footprint and kind of how we can reflect on that and yeah.
Sure. So I would start off by saying that I think banks, again, because of the fact that we serve customers, individuals, we serve small businesses, we serve larger companies, we're in a very good position to assess kind of what the needs are. And I would say most of our companies came through the COVID period, did a few things to refine their business models, and are having reasonable success, although the big concern they have is they can't get enough talent, and they could do even more if they had access to that talent. I would say that has eased a bit from when we first came out of the pandemic, so going through 23, things were really tight. I think it's a bit better now in 24, although I think there's still longer-term concerns about the need to have skills that make people future-ready. So the world's going more digital. What does that mean to the business model? And then what kind of skills and talent do you need inside your company to thrive in a digital environment? What kind of software engineering do you need? What kind of data analysis skills do you need? You mentioned, Rob, the AI is coming, and it's going to be a big impact on kind of the labor force and how companies operate. We're going to need more talent for that as well. So we can see those needs, we can understand those concerns, and the good news is that's just one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is we have great relationships with the community partners that we work with to help communities thrive and be better places to live, work, and play in. They are able to put together programs and marshal resources so that we can bring in people who are looking to better their lives and give them the right training and skill set to get on the economic ladder and move up and have kind of better overall career progressions, make a better living fundamentally. So in addition to that, it's also educational institutions play a critical role. So when you think about not-for-profits, you think about local government agencies, you think about educational institutions, stirring that pot like we're trying to do here today is something that can really hit the mark in terms of upskilling people, creating more diverse workforce, and satisfying the needs that companies had. So that's kind of big picture. And I think a lot of that applies here in Pittsburgh as well. The migration away from a more manufacturing and more heavy industry economy has been underway for years, moving more towards a service industry and kind of a core of eds and meds is a big thing that a lot of folks around the country look at Pittsburgh and say, wow, they did a really great job of kind of moving from where they were to a much better position. But still, all those forces about needing to be more digital and needing to have better IT and cyber skills, et cetera, those permeate the landscape here and create opportunities. Anyway, I'd say there's a lot of things that are in common with other markets, but there's some unique aspects of Pittsburgh due to its history that mean you have to craft things particularly. One thing I mentioned in my opening remarks, this relationship we have with the Andy Warhol Museum and the Warhol Academy, there's a very creative, artistic, cultural scene here in Pittsburgh that creates lots of opportunities for folks to advance in careers in that direction as well and keep Pittsburgh vibrant as a cultural kind of mecca. So we're really pleased with that partnership, and we re-upped it again this year, and there's another 30 folks, including some of the folks in the room, who get to benefit from our investment in those fellowships.
Wonderful. So we've talked about a lot of dynamics going on here. We have, the suppressed birth rates, right? Which I'm not sure we can solve that. I don't think we can have a campaign to improve that. We've talked about we have out-migration challenges and challenges with other economies. We do have a resilient economy that has learned how to tackle challenges in the past. we also are creating some of these, many of these technologies of the future in our backyard with the entrepreneurialism, the research going on in places like Carnegie Mellon. And we're sitting in a building, Dr. Bullock, that you created to kind of blend that together, to create that primordial soup, let's say, of how the employers are thinking about experiences, where technology comes into play, where future-focused skills come into play, and how we can use the community college as a place to actually test and create workers of the future. So can you help us understand, how you see this and where you see Community College of Allegheny County fitting into addressing these challenges in our talent pipeline?
Well, thank you, Stephanie, and welcome to the Center for Education, Innovation, and Training, our newest facility that is specifically designed with the partnership with business and industry. Within this facility, or within our new footprint, we specifically work hand in hand with business and industry to talk about credentialing, competencies, and the essential skills, and packaging the information in short credentials, micro pathways, apprenticeships, specialized training, upskilling, that specifically links an individual from getting the credential, going directly into the workplace, and being able to ladder that credential towards another certificate or toward their associate's degree, with ultimate goals to transfer to a four-year college or university. We're also specifically working on pathways through non-credit training, where an individual can come through the non-credit pathway, get a job, work collaboratively with our academic division, earn college credit toward a credential that allow them to continue to grow, earn another credential, and increase their economic stability. What's unique about the community college is we meet the students where they are. Our average age is 26. We do upskilling for the individual that may be within the workplace that needs new skill sets to adapt to the new economic climate. For our younger students who are coming to the community college, we begin to introduce youth in middle schools about the various emerging careers to help them link the importance of math, reading, technology, and other skills that align with today's emerging workforce needs. By doing that, that helps to create future pathways into the various careers that are available here at CCAC. Within this facility, in response to work that's been done across the county, we have advanced manufacturing, mechatronics, information technology, cybersecurity, and a state-of-the-art culinary institute. All of these initiatives are specifically responding to the emerging demands within the region. It offers an individual to get an apprenticeship while working. It offers an individual to get specialized training in any of the areas of robotics, advanced manufacturing that leads to work. And it also connects the student to the actual equipment that they will work on when they go into the industry, because we worked hand in hand with industry to ensure that we are purchasing the equipment and technology that they will use when they leave our doors to go directly to work. So we are committed to working with our partners to ensure that what we offer within our doors prepares a skilled workforce that's ready to work and respond to the region's economic needs.
Dr. Bullock, could I stay with you for a minute? Could you just give us an example of a specific program, an initiative, a company, a person? Like, help bring it to life for us.
Absolutely. Let's take mechatronics. We do industrial manufacturing technology apprenticeship with the German Chamber of Commerce. It prepares individuals to go through the apprenticeship over 4 years. They are working in the industry. They are being exposed to various components within the mechatronics industry that's specific to a defined niche. When they finish the credential, they have all the skill sets necessary to be a technician working in mechatronics and the ability to grow from that and earn higher credentials.
Like in a manufacturing company?
Like in manufacturing,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Wonderful. So, Bill, you're newer to Pittsburgh, and I know you and I don't even know each other, but you have an incredibly impressive background across the talent spectrum, and you've really tackled these issues from multiple fronts. So can you help us understand your organization now, so we can, and then the partnership you're building here, and then maybe something you might see in Pittsburgh and how we can kind of improve the state of our workforce challenges?
Sure. So thank you very much. And my connection to Pittsburgh started with Franco Harris being on my wall. So,
Oh, okay. Thought I was going to. Okay.
No, it wasn't
Appearing
farther.
in your
Just
wonderful.
yeah, he was on
we
my
already
wall.
like you. You're a Steelers fan.
So yes, born. Yeah, him and Mean Joe Green were my favorites. Terry Bradshaw. I can keep going, but. Hi, I'm Bill Hughes. I'm CEO of Education Design Lab. We're a national nonprofit focused on designing the future of learning towards the future of work. We have this mission focused on what we call the new majority learner. And it's born out of a realization where there are a lot of different statistics, but one that strikes me is way back maybe 15 years ago, there was a study done on ninth graders and what happens to them in their cohorts. 18% of ninth graders have a normal post-secondary experience. 18%. And that's normal. That's go to high school, graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, in that order, roughly in 6 years for a degree, a bachelor's degree, 3 years for an associate's degree. So the 82% of the rest are not normal. And those abnormal folks are the ones that we focus on. We call them the new majority learners. Some of them are high schoolers who say, you know what, college is not for me, at least not right now. But maybe they can be in a dual enrollment program. It might be someone who goes to military. It might be someone who has family or has family that they have to care for or have to start working before they actually go and make a heavy investment in an uncertain credential that some cultures even wonder, is this even valuable? A lot end up coming back, and maybe by age 26, say, they're able to pursue a college degree. If you're a single parent, though, 9 out of, I think it's you're 9 or 10 times less likely to finish that program that you started. So there's something that's going on with the way that we've designed post-secondary historically, with the 4-year programs and so forth, where at the end of all of this work that we try to do to get people degrees, only about 35% end up getting a degree. So what are the things that we have to do to solve for that? Our focus is therefore on what we call the new majority learner. A simple way of describing this adult without degree, but that could be a high school kid or it could be a 30 or 50-year-old person. That's our focal point. The demand point is industry that actually needs to hire, but industry does not easily hire in places where there's not vibrant talent. So being able to make sure that there's some vibrant talent options for industry really helps them to advance and grow, as Bruce was mentioning. But we realize that in all of the work that people have to try to solve for this other 60 to 80% of folks, there are too many organizations that are out there. Lots of nonprofits, lots of different programs, that are, and a lot of money that's tossed out trying to help people to be effective in the workforce. The challenge, however, is bringing it all together. And we see the community college as the leverage point for so many reasons. First of all, they are the on-ramp for so many people, and they do meet learners where they are. And part of what we try to do with the Micro Pathways program that Bruce has mentioned, it's sort of a design blueprint for the kind of programs that allow for you to design for the learner. So one of the things that's one of our secret sauces and something that we share with CCAC is human-centered design, putting that human and their needs and their goals, that new majority learner, at the center of the equation, and then designing programs around them. If they're a single parent and need to work at night or work part-time or not fail a class because they had to pick up their kid from daycare, which are all things that are happening to parents and to students, those are the types of things that you have to start to solve for and solve into these programs. If there's a program where a hospital is interested in actually accelerating, maternal care, like a doula program. How do you keep that pipeline going and growing and having people actually learn and do and work, learn and work and learn and work, as opposed to learn. No one's getting served but the university or the college. And then eventually they work. So that person's in debt. And, there's a whole bunch of knock-on effects of the traditional programs. But if we can redesign these programs so that economically, so that time-wise, so that skill-wise, so that life journey-wise, people can kind of weave this into their lives, there's a transformational effect. And we see that happening more and more. We're really excited about the support that Citizens giving to enable CCAC to do this kind of work, to have Partner for Work engaged, so that all of these organizations now are organized around these learners to help them stack towards not just a first job, but to a career that might shift as industry shifts in their region. And I'll say the last thing around Pittsburgh, I think it's really exciting, the shift from, say, being Steel City to eds and meds and tech. You have skill and ability and a history in both. I think, the steel industry philanthropically financed the art industry, but now, because of that, decades later, there's a vibrant arts community here where you have the kind of innovation that can actually drive new types of industry forward. But we don't know what those skills are. They may be requiring robotics and mechatronics or AI or advanced or different kinds of nursing requirements. So by having partners like CCAC and community colleges in general, you're able to start to really solve for not just the needs today, but the ones of the future.
Yeah, Bill, you're raising a point that has come up kind of as a consistent thread in what I'm hearing, which is, Bruce, you're talking about an economy that's rapidly evolving, where jobs are shifting every day due to technology and AI. You're talking about people who don't work the same way, don't learn the same way, don't train the same way. Yet, Rob, you're living in an incredibly constrained environment with funding rules and a lot of a very inflexible system. So my head immediately listens to this and says, what can public policy solutions be? How do we actually think broadly about systemic solutions? So Rob, I wonder if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that can be done. And so you're right. We, as a workforce board, we work under a lot of constraints. It's federal money. There's, rules and regulations around that we consistently advocate to make more flexible. I think one of the best things we can do to kind of work around that is really get the employer engaged right away, because they truly are our most flexible partner. And Bill, you alluded to something that is absolutely needed. We need to get the employer at the table right away. But second, that they have to think differently about how they onboard folks, and that scaffolding and that permeability between education and work has to be kind of built into whatever their kind of business plan. And so the ability to take someone who is essentially a low-skilled worker and design in your company the way that they scaffold into a skilled worker is going to pay dividends and retentions in the future in a tight labor market like this. So there are some policy things that we can do, but it's really the biggest policy change is really approaching the work differently and making sure that you have employers kind of leading that work. One of the best things, one of our best programs is one that Citizens sponsors is BankWorks. And so we, especially at the teller position, they're just very tight. But what we did is we got the entire sector together, all the banks together, and said, what is the related instruction that you all agree on? And that way, folks weren't going it alone. They weren't saying, we want to try to hire based on this curriculum or that curriculum. They all came together, figured out one curriculum, and it's probably one of our highest placement rate programs because of that. And they kind of fight over folks, you know, because they've all agreed on this, and they've worried about the sector as opposed to their particular organization. And that's what it's going to take.
So Bruce, Citizens has been at the table. You think this is a value to the company. You see ROI in this. What would you say to a group of CEOs? How do we get them in the game, and what is it going to take?
Well, I really think the time is now. And so, I just think the economy is being disrupted, and there's a lot of innovation out there. And so therefore, the need for different skills for people to thrive is kind of accelerating. And so I think it's really important for CEOs to lean in on this and to get engaged with partners and focus on, to me, the key that we've found success around is collaboration and innovation. So a lot of the things that we've achieved would not be feasible without great partners that collaborate, and we iterate around how is this going to work, what are those needs, and if we tweak it this way or that way, does that improve it? And let's think outside the box in terms of how we construct some of these things. So I do think it's certainly high on most CEOs' radar screen right now. And I think the bigger question is, well, how? How do I get involved? How can I participate? How can I be of help? I'm certainly a taker. If there's people who figure this out, I'll benefit from it. But how do I become a positive force and a proactive force is kind of where people's heads are at. Those are a few thoughts.
That's great. So I think we have a few minutes. I'm supposed to go to the kind of the audience. I see a lot of community leaders here. Questions for this esteemed panel? Yes, Carlos.
I'm Carlos Carter, President of Urban League of Pittsburgh. Question for you. So we know there are a lot of challenges around population and people coming, but we do have a strong influx of Latinos population, which I think is helpful. But how do we create a space where people can feel engaged? Because at Urban, we do a lot around workforce, locally and nationally. And in terms of what do we do to let people know these opportunities are for them? Because let's face it, there are a lot of people in certain communities, Black communities specifically, where people don't connect themselves to these opportunities. So how do we make that connection? And the second thing is, how do we create spaces where people can thrive? So for example, I've talked to young people who work in the construction industry, and the racist things they tell me are unbelievable, or even the manufacturing space. And I'll share something to me. I mean, very egregious things that seem like back in the 40s. So how do we overcome those things?
Just a simple question.
You answer it well, you get to know.
I was going to say, go for it, Dr. Bullock.
For the community college, we are located across the region, and we make every effort to try to penetrate communities with information. Yes, yes. For example, in the Mon Valley, which is a very diverse population, we have EOS battery, storage battery. We brought a program for industrial manufacturing technology, and we're training individuals who live in Mon Valley who found that location suitable, and also a company that was invested in creating a pathway. My example is we went to Mon Valley to identify a group of individuals who would not leave Mon Valley to go anywhere else, and they're getting an apprenticeship training in IMT. When we take Homewood Brushton, another underserved population, we've worked with Community Empowerment Association to provide short-term training programs in some of the areas, and commercial driver license for training for truck drivers and bus drivers, the convenience, the shortness of the training, the competitive salary for starting. We also offered the maternity doula program at Homewood Brushton to introduce underserved population to that training and put them in a pathway. If you look at other communities, such as the Latino, we just recently transcribed many of our workforce programs into Spanish, Russian, Chinese, and some other areas to connect with diverse populations across the area. And we're offering ESL training in the Hispanic, Latino communities, connecting them with some of the training, and we're teaching some programs in Spanish to Spanish speakers to be able to treat persons in the nursing community, some of the basic healthcare aid, certified nurse aid, to work with their specific area. We also offer summer camps where we reach out to different communities to connect youth very early on from diverse populations, working with CNX, who's committed to bringing urban, rural, underrepresented populations career exploration to explore various careers on tours, contributing to their self-esteem, motivation, providing the resources to support them. We host a variety of open houses within the community, within the college. If you take Hazelwood, we are part of the Hazelwood Corporation community organization where we present in Hazelwood to inform them about the various careers. So there's no one solution. We realize that even when we do it in the different communities, there's someone in that community still do not know about the numerous opportunities that are offered through the community college. How do you pay for college? How do you pay for workforce training? What are the resources? What are the credentials? What are the jobs? We go into the community to make that known and do everything that we can to connect, support, and see the success of each person that selects the college as a point of entry and completion.
Bill, I assume this is where your point about the 82% non-traditional, not-normal worker or learner come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think in support of what Dr. Bullock's saying, there needs to be an approach to how do you design all these programs that you're talking about. And we talk about, human-centered design. Very specifically, that means going into communities and populations and listening for what they want to do, and then helping them achieve what they're trying to do. And in some cases, they may lack the vision or be intimidated about expressing that. So there's some relationship building there, there's some patience there, but ultimately we talk about design with, not design for. Design for ends up with a lot of money falling on the falling off the table. Design with means people are really energized, motivated, and engaged. And there are industries, for example, which are suffering because they don't understand the cultural barriers that are built into that industry. We had a similar situation in New England in the wind turbine industry, where they're trying to get folks working in wind turbine, and the IBEW union, God bless them, when you were a high school kid in Fall River and you were from Cape Verdes, family from Cape Verdes, you didn't hang out with the IBEW families because they used to beat you up and tease you, and you just didn't think that you could be part of them. And then you show up at the wind turbine manufacturing facility, and all those IBEW people are right there. So how does that welcoming happen? And I think there's a need for these type of things just under the surface, and it's a place for leadership, whether it's in industry or it's in colleges, community colleges, bringing folks together, and by not only focusing on the industry needs but also focusing on these needs, I think we can solve for these things. And the last quick point I'll just say is, Bruce, you said, what can I do? I think programmatically there need to be things that you can take action on, because you're not necessarily going to be able just to come up with these things all the time. But the degree to which the things that you take action on start to help inject a different mindset into you as an employer, for example, that's going to be transformative, helping you meet your goals, but also helping create new opportunities and new pathways and new doors for others.
Any other questions from the group? Yes, thank you, Yvonne.
I'm just in 1975, and this is exactly the same problem we were talking about.
Right.
So, where are the schools involved in this? Because that 82% we're losing them somewhere lower than we're talking here, to some degree. And how are we integrating or reinventing the process in the schools so that they flow into you much better?
So K through 12 education.
Well,
Yes.
or at least-
Okay. Okay. Dr.
We,
Bullock.
we have several initiatives. With RK Mellon, we have an educational career pathway that is working with middle schools through 12th grade to introduced into careers in finance, technology, and accounting. Through that pathway, it's career exploration in the first 2 years, job shadowing, learning about the different careers and connecting the dots to the various courses that are related. As they progress through that program, the ultimate goal is to commit to a career pathway. We have over 150 students in that pathway over the last 4 years. They are in a career pathway, which is one model, which says that we have individuals that will go into IT, finance, and accounting. Another is through our Verizon program, which works with youth in grades, starting in grade 8, to introduce them to careers in information technology, coding, programming. And that program has over 175 youth in it. And the excitement about it is that it's hands-on, it's engaging, it's project-driven, and they begin to understand the value of math, how to code, how to program, how to do a presentation, and the excitement then connects them to a career path. We have a healthcare summer camp that for youth and women that connects women to careers in healthcare starting in 8th and 9th grade so that they tour the different hospitals. Oftentimes you hear nursing, but do they know about surgical technology, respiratory therapy, occupational therapy? So through those pathways, it introduces them early on to career pathways so they realign. It takes time because within the schools they have a committed curriculum. So we are innovative in how we offer dual enrollment courses which can be offered as a part of the high school curriculum or during the 8th period or during special times that a school identifies with CCAC that we can offer the training. With West Allegheny, we do an information technology program where students actually take enough courses that they can earn their associate's degree by the time before they graduate from high school, which has proven to be very effective. So we are open to exploring different components and penetrating the delivery of education within the high school through summer camps, specialized programs that will introduce youth early on to get them in a pipeline to understand what they need to continue to thrive in to be successful in the career that they desire to explore.
Rob, what do you think it takes to build a successful partnership with a school district?
I think that the partnership has to start at the district level, and it has to permeate all the way down to the teacher itself. And so at Partner for Work, we've started a new initiative called Career Ready Allegheny, where we work with all school districts in Allegheny County. And, you know, kind of along the same vein that Dr. Bullock was talking about, there has to be an exposure component to young people to let them know what is available to them in a particular area. But it's hard to do in fits and starts. We do it through learn and earn programming. We have a lot of different avenues to let young people know one thing at a specific time. But what we're doing specifically is we're working with teachers to train teachers on how to integrate this into the curriculum, how to integrate this into math, English, science, and talk about and expose young people to different occupations that are regionally specific to this area of Pennsylvania within the curriculum that they get every day. And that's the way that we can, over a long period of time, kind of hit them with the same thing over and over again. So hopefully by the time that they're in high school and ready to enter that dual enrollment program here at CCAC, that they have an idea of, hey, what's to offer here in the region, but where they fit in and what their interests lie also.
Really intentional, really
Yes.
deliberative. So I think we only have a couple minutes left, and I want to give each panelist a chance to give us a final, either a challenge or a call to action that can help position Pittsburgh for a better future. So Bruce, I'm going to start with you.
I just want to make one point before I get to that, if I may,
Sure.
which hasn't come up. But one thing that we try to do is think more broadly. So this whole topic of workforce development, getting people upskilled is really important. But for the economies we serve to thrive, more is needed than just that. And so the commitment banks, have a balance sheet, they allocate capital. And so we're very committed to affordable housing and making sure that, we're providing capital for that. There's need for small businesses to get credit and, diverse small businesses in particular. And so we have funds available for that. There's innovation efforts that really need to accelerate new ways of doing business. We have kind of funds that are oriented towards that. And so, it takes, I think, a broad lens, and banks in particular, I think, are well positioned because of the role we play to bring more force to it than just simply what we're talking about today, which is the essence of today's meeting, and it's critically important, but we also do more. I would say the thing for Pittsburgh is just to take inventories of strengths, but also look forward to the future and kind of see where the economy's heading, and then try to map what are the different kind of industries and segments of the economy and just needs of all businesses in terms of new skills to be future ready that will be represent opportunities, and so build off what you have with an eye towards kind of where things are going. And I think Pittsburgh's done a really good job of that historically, and using the educational institutions, great university system to turn out the engineers that all the big tech companies need, and then they start locating their facilities here. That's one aspect that gets a lot of play, but also the whole energy economy in Western Pennsylvania, and marshaling people for fracking and for the Shell plant, and those things kind of come and they peak and valley, but where is kind of energy going in the next, the effort around clean energy, around fuel cell storage and things like that. So just stepping back and kind of really being thoughtful about what's going to be needed 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and then how do we align the programs and the efforts to move in that direction.
That's great. Pittsburgh does have a really critical role to play in these future-focused economies. Thank you. Bill.
Yeah, I think part of it is, and you mentioned earlier, we've been doing this since the 70s. There's a saying, the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed, right? So there's a lot of things that we know how to do, but we haven't been able to put all the pieces together. But what I see happening increasingly, there are things that are helping put the things together, and it probably fall into two categories. One are an increasing agreement around what some of these alternative models are, what they look like, how to do them. And that set of quote-unquote standards is an accelerant to allowing these more of the future to show up faster in more ways in more places. I think the other thing is a recognition, I think, in terms of both higher ed and industry, around the role of higher ed and community colleges in particular. I personally see community colleges as talent partners of the future. And I think the degree to which they see themselves that way, and Dr. Bullock, it sounds very much like you do see that and operating that way and have been for years. And the way that I hear, Bruce, you describing not only citizens, but the finance industry and how collaboration's been going on, and you mentioned, a sense of like that talent pipeline, but the degree to which industry sees community college as a key talent partner and relies on it and helps them be a better partner. That's where we're going to have an acceleration so that higher ed is now not moving at the speed of accreditation, but moving at the speed of business. And when you have that happen, all of a sudden, I think there's a whole bunch of new, exciting opportunities and possibilities.
Great point. Thank you. Dr. Bullock.
When you think of workforce development, training, think of the community college. The community college is the economic engine for preparing a skilled workforce. We thrive and celebrate our partnerships with business and industry to ensure that what we teach And what we train aligns and complements the skills and the competencies that business and industry needs for their current and future workforce. When you think about affordability, high quality, diversity, and caring environment, think of the Community College of Allegheny County, because that describes our commitment to preparing individuals for work, seamless transfer to our four-year college or universities, and getting a credential that will allow them to succeed in their desired job and career.
Thank you, and Rob.
I think like the first thing and one thing, and you wouldn't think you have to say it all the time, but stop doing what doesn't work. Like, just stop doing that.
Fabulous.
You know. And I think the second thing is, and why we're probably up here as panelists, is set multi-system goals. Like, integrate with other systems, set goals, and implement based on a system level. There's so much that goes on underneath a system, and that is, to some degree, is fits and starts of small programs that never can truly scale up. And maybe wouldn't need to if we implement it at a system level and negotiate it at a system level, and there was true integration there.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you, Dr. Bullock, for hosting us today in this wonderful space. Thank you especially to Citizens Bank for your leadership and the significant investment globally, but also in our region in particular. And thank you for being here, Bruce. And thank you, Bill, for coming to Pittsburgh and joining us in this partnership. And obviously, Rob, thank you for what you do every day. Can everyone please join me in thanking our panelists? Okay, I think that's a wrap.